started, to everybody listening in on Clubhouse, welcome. I know for a lot of y'all it was a difficult journey to get here with all the, in my opinion, unnecessary updates that Clubhouse has been making, but thankfully you were able to hear us come back and listen to us either like you usually do or for the first time. But in either case, we hope you continue to study with us every Sabbath, and we may be making a transition from Clubhouse to the similar app known as Fanbase. Don't worry, we will keep you updated on this transition. But as usual, I have to go through the rules with you. For any of you who don't know, this is our Sabbath study. What that means is this is not an open discussion yet. It will be an open discussion when the class is over. Once the class is over, if you have a question or a comment, simply raise your hand and one of my mods will bring you to the stage where you can ask any question about any topic or make any comments you want, provided you are respectful. And speaking of respect, for those of you in the chat room, try to keep the chatter to a minimum. Based on today's topic, I don't expect too much controversy in the chat. I think we can all agree that the Bible says we're supposed to honor our parents, but you never know. There's always some trolls out there who like to come into other people's rooms and disrupt the chat. So if you find yourself arguing back and forth with somebody in the chat or trying to attack the lesson while I'm teaching it or just spamming up the chat with your own scriptures, one of my mods will promptly expel you from the room. No questions asked, no warnings. They already post the rules whenever you come into the room. So you should know. If you feel like you were kicked out of the room unfairly, simply DM one of my mods. Don't DM me because I don't check my DMs while I'm teaching. And just explain to them that you think they made a mistake when they kick you out. But like I always tell you, they rarely, if ever, make these kinds of mistakes. So if you got kicked out, you probably had it coming. So now that we've gotten all that out the way, the title of today's class is Honor Your Father and Mother, the Forgotten Precept. That's right, you heard correctly. Today's class is titled Honor Your Father and Mother, the Forgotten Precept. And when I say forgotten, I mean exactly that, because I've never really heard anybody over the years do an entire study on honoring father and mother. It's been a long time. I would actually say more than a decade since I've heard anybody even touch on this topic. And that includes on Clubhouse, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. And I can understand why a lot of people don't really want to talk about this topic, because they feel like it's just a basic topic and that it should just be common sense to obey your parents. But when you look at the state of this world today, especially over here in the United States, you can see that the family structure is deteriorating more and more. And it's mainly because concept of honoring your father and mother is slowly being pushed out of the family demographic. And social media, and especially TV and movies, play a big part in this. So you got something called sitcoms. For many of you who don't know, sitcoms is just short for situation comedy. Those are the shows you watch where they have a laugh track on there. And if you look at most sitcoms, usually the husband is being disrespected and emasculated by the wife on a regular. And, you know, the crowd finds that. That's been touched on upon. We've already talked about that. Other people have noticed that. That is definitely a problem. But nobody really talks about how the parents in general are disrespected on these sitcoms. The way children disrespect their parents, talk back to them, just straight up rebel against them, openly defy them, This is becoming the norm, as I said, especially over here in the United States. And this is the reason why this world is in the state that it's in. Because this commandment, honor your father and mother, is not really being promoted that much. Not in the modern day church. When you come on social media and you see the Israelite teaching, they don't really talk about honoring your father and mother. I'm not saying nobody ever mentions it here and there, but nobody really talks about the importance of it, even though it's in the Ten Commandments. And this was a commandment that the Most High took very seriously. But one of the biggest misconceptions about honoring your father and mother is that we think this commandment was directed at underage children. That's the biggest misconception about honoring your father and mother. When this commandment was written, sisters and brothers, it was aimed at adults. Now, why is this important for you to know? Because most of us, when we become adults, we think that kind of released us from having to obey or listen to our parents. And sisters and brothers, that just simply is not the case. The commandment, honor your father and mother, yes, is aimed at children. But let's use a little common sense here. If you are the adult, you don't need your child to pick up a Bible to know they're supposed to listen to you. You're going to tell them that. You're going to discipline them on that. So in ancient Israel, when it talks about honoring your father and mother, it was a given that parents would teach their children to obey them. That's almost natural. So what was it really getting at? Who was it really talking to? It was talking mainly to the adults. And this is the problem in society today, too. We become grown up and we think we no longer have to honor our parents. But I'm going to show you that that is not true. And I'm going to take it a step further and show you when it says, honor your father and mother, that also includes in-laws, sisters and brothers. Because, there's a stigma over here in America about people not liking their in-laws. Don't want to live with them, definitely don't want to listen to them. That is not biblical, sisters and brothers. I'm going to show you that once you marry your spouse, their parents become your parents. And that shouldn't be too much of a shock for many of you, because even over here in America, we traditionally, not everybody, but we traditionally call our in-laws mom and dad when we get married. And that's straight from the Bible. So this is definitely a forgotten precept because we think it's okay. Some of us even think it's cool to disrespect our parents, either as children or as adults. We think that's cool. And nobody really wants to talk about this, but this is the main reason why these children are out of control, because we're not teaching honor your father and mother. We're just simply not teaching that. And it's a very important precept to teach. It's extremely important. And we're going to start this out first in Exodus 20, because you're going to learn some stuff. You may think this is basic, but it gets a little deep. And we're going to learn some stuff, and we're going to show you how serious the Most High was about this particular commandment. So this is Exodus 20. In the Ten Commandments, we're going to read one verse, verse 12. Exodus 20 and verse 12. That's why I be laughing, Jeff, when people complain about this current generation. You always got the previous generation complaining about the current generation, which is the stupidest thing you can do. Because the current generation is the product of the previous generation. Who the hell you think raised the previous generation, Jeff? You feel me? Have you ever thought about that before, Jeff?
Not deep, no.
Right, you know, you got these old heads, these children, these kids, they don't got any respect. Well, y'all raised them. Y'all do know that each generation is the product of the previous generation. Do everybody on the stage understand that? Or do y'all think this generation just came out of nowhere? Everybody got that, like Judith, Stephanie, Dre, y'all understand that, right? Keanu, you can't complain, right? You can't be an older person and complain about the current generation and you're a parent or a grandparent. You can't do that. You follow what I'm saying? Y'all need to understand that. That's why I laugh at these old heads. These children, they get so wild, they get so out of control. Well, you're the ones who raised them. That's what we got to understand. That's why, if y'all notice, I don't kind of fell back from talking like that. Now, I can talk about how bad things are. Anybody has the right to do that. But I don't like to sound like these old heads, these kids, these generation. And I'm like, yo, well, I'm one of the people of the previous generation. Now, I talk about my own kids, but, you know, when you say these kids of these generation, understand that you are the reason why they are the way they are. Each previous generation is responsible for the current generation. That's just common sense. So this is Exodus 20 and verse 2. I just wanted to put that out there because we sit around and we say stuff like that like we didn't play a role in how these kids turned out today. Right? Exodus 20 and verse 12. Read that, Jeff.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Now listen to this particular commandment because it's one of a kind in a certain regard. It says honor, which means respect, your father and your mother, and it even gives you a reason that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God gives you. And I'm going to show you that this was not just talking about in the time of Israel, but it lets you know the reason why you're supposed to respect your parents is so that you can live long. And see, we wonder why our children are out here dying in the streets early. Some of them don't even reach the age of 18. And we forget that there's a commandment in the Bible that says if you honor your father and mother, you will live longer. So in contrast, if you disrespect them, you will shorten your days. I remember, and Big Baby can tell you this, when we were growing up and we used to talk back to our mom, she used to say, you're not doing anything but shortening your days.
Wow.
That's where she got that from. And we wonder why these kids, they're wilding out. If they're wilding out, they're not respecting their parents. And they're dying out here in these streets. Somebody needs to tell these children, if you're disrespecting your parents, you are shortening your lifespan. That's why these young kids out here dying in the streets like that, because they're not respecting their parents. That's not the only reason, but that's one of the reasons. And we need to be telling our children this. We serve a God that does not discriminate based on age. He don't care if you're 13, 14, or 15. You get out here and you start disrespecting your parents, he will take you off of this planet. He don't care. There's no age discrimination going on here. He doesn't care if you're a teenager. He will take you out of here. But this does not just apply to the underage children. It applies to us as adults. There is no expiration date on the commandment, honor your father and mother. And I see some of y'all, and I've seen it. I've done it before myself. I don't do it anymore. As an adult, You sitting there arguing back and forth with your parents, disrespecting them. You don't argue with your parents, sisters and brothers. If you don't agree with them, leave. Get out of their house if you live with them. If you're visiting, leave. After you calm down, come back, see if y'all can work it out. But you don't stand there arguing back and forth with your parents. That is disrespectful. You hear what they have to say. If you agree with it, you let them know. If you don't, you can let them know. You can speak, but you don't go back and forth with them. You don't talk back to them. If you don't agree with that, show me in the scriptures where honoring your mother and father has an expiration date on it. I would love to see it. Because, we like to say, I'm a grown man. I'm a grown woman. I ain't got to let you talk to me like that no more, mama or daddy. Where did it say that at? It didn't say honor your father and mother until you're an adult. See, nobody likes to talk about it like this, Jeff. Nobody wants to get this deep with it. You're supposed to respect your parents to the grave.
That's right.
There's no expiration date on this. My motto is, if you don't want to follow their rules, get out of their house. Or shut up and live by their rules. And that goes for if you're an adult or a child. Say it again, Auntie.
I learned that at 7 years old.
Exactly. But that's how it's supposed to be. But now let's move on. Because I'm going to take you to the New Testament with it. Just in case I got some New Testament Christians in here, well, that was out of that old covenant. Okay. Let's see what Paul had to say about it. Y'all know me. I like to get it everywhere. Let's go to Ephesians 6. But that's the only commandment in the Ten Commandments that tells you that if you follow it, you will live longer. That's the only one of the Ten Commandments that does that. Now, you can go through the Old Testament, and it'll tell you that all the commandments as a collective, when given to the children of Israel, if they follow them, they will live longer. As a collective. But individually speaking, that's the only commandment that says that. And Paul understood this too. And a lot of us as parents are not teaching our children honor, which means respect, your father and your mother so that you can live longer. And if you don't teach your children that, you're doing them a great disservice because by disrespecting you, they're just shortening their own lifespan. Now, you're wondering why your child died in a shootout or something, and I'm not saying that's automatically the reason, just in case somebody lost a child in a violent situation. I am a sensitive person. I'm not insensitive. I know things can happen, and you've been doing everything you're supposed to be doing. So I don't want nobody, he's thinking that because this happened to my child, this is my fault. No, I'm not that type. I'm not that guy. Y'all know that ain't me. But y'all do know there are parents out there that halfway discipline their children, and then bad stuff happens to them. It's up to you to teach your children honor your father and mother so that they will live longer. Because we serve a God that if they don't, he will take them out of here early. He will do that. They need to know that. We need to be teaching the fear of God to our children. I was taught the fear of God when I was growing up by my mom. My mom used to tell us to be quiet while it was thundering and lightning. So that's God working. Y'all need to sit down somewhere. Turn off the TV. I'm not saying you got to teach them that, but you need to teach them the fear of God. You need to teach them that there is a higher power above you, that if you don't listen to me, that higher power will discipline you in the worst way. We're supposed to be teaching our children that. And because they are not being taught that by us, they disrespect us, they don't listen to us, and then they die early death. The way it's set up, y'all. But this is Ephesians 6. We're going to read verses 1 to 3. When you get there, Jeff, read please.
Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right.
It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Notice he says, in the Lord, in God, in Jesus. That means obey them in the confines of the belief system. What that means is, children, whether underage or adults, you don't obey your parents if they're telling you to do something that goes against the faith. You don't do that. If you're an adult and your parents or your in-laws try to tell you to do something that goes against the word, you don't listen to them. And you tell them why. You don't just have to just be like, no, I'm not doing that. You're like, no, the Bible says I'm going to do that. That's why it says, in the Lord. But that's not even my point. Keep reading, please.
Verse 2. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise.
It said, honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise. What does it mean when it's the first commandment with promise? It is the first commandment that said that if you do this, something else will happen. That's the first commandment that promised something. Honor your father and mother that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God gives you. But it's going to tell you that in the very next verse. Read that, please.
Verse 3. That it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth.
Notice that even in the New Testament, when Paul is addressing these Christian Gentiles, he's telling them that this commandment still carries the same power. If you honor your father and mother, he said, that it may be well with you and you may live long on the earth. There are a lot of people who are not here today, died early death because they did not respect their parents. And like I said, there's no expiration date to this, and there are no stipulations to this. It did not say honor your father and mother only if they are good parents, only if they provide for you, only if you agree with what they're telling you to do. There are no stipulations. There are stipulations to obedience, but there's no stipulation to honor. You have to respect them. I don't care if your mama is a stripper / prostitute. You honor your mother. That does not give you the right to disrespect her. I don't care if your father is a crackhead / drug dealer getting high on his own supply. I don't care. You honor your father. I don't see a stipulation anywhere here. Go ahead, Jeff. Say it all.
Oh, I wasn't, but I'm glad that, you asked me that. But, yeah, even like, and it's a little testimony, like my father was like heavy into the streets, but he wasn't going to let me disrespect him anyway. But I always had that respect for him, you know what I'm saying, because that's what you're supposed to do. And plus, my mother knew from day one what he was, and she chose to stay with him. So if she forgave him for what he did, then I have to forgive him. And also, when people say that the Old Testament is done away with, Paul broke that down right from Exodus 20, and he went in deep with it, like you were saying about how may live long on the earth. He went in on that scripture, so that's just a testimony that the Old Testament stands.
Exactly. And that commandment, honor your father and mother, number one, has no stipulation on it. Number two, no expiration date. And number three, it applies to in-laws as well. You don't disrespect your mother-in-law or your father-in-law. You respect them the same way you respect your parents. This is why a lot of family structure is falling apart. That's why over here in the West, especially in the States, they have this running gag about men not liking their mother-in-laws. That is not cool. You're supposed to try to love your in-laws. You're supposed to love them so much that you bestow the title of mother and father upon them too. Oh, we're going to read that stuff. Instead, you got women living with their mother-in-law, can't stand them. Mother-in-law living with a daughter-in-law, can't stand them. Father-in-law living with his son-in-law, they can't stand each other. The husband telling the wife that, I can't stand your daddy. All this hate, bitterness, and animosity have infiltrated the family unit because nobody wants to talk about how deep it is to honor your father and mother and how important this was to the Most High, how important this is to your lifespan. That's why you got a lot of parents outliving their children because the children don't want to honor their parents. This is set up by the Most High, y'all. It's the first commandment with promise. It's the only commandment out of the 10 commandments that promises you extended life if you obey it. That should tell you something. It don't even say that about not having any other gods before the Most High. You would think that commandment, Jeff, would be the one that say, so that you may live longer on the land. You would think that one would say that. No, it's the one about honoring your parents that tells you that. We don't understand that God put our parents here as a representative of him. Before your child is old enough to grasp the concept of a creator, you as the parent are the closest thing to God they understand. That's why he has to make sure that you make them understand that disrespect towards you will not be tolerated. Because once you teach them that towards you, then they're going to be able to grasp that that's even more imperative when it comes to the Most High. So that's why he's so strict about it. But let's continue, because Paul lets you know that that commandment is still in effect and what goes with it. And if you are an adult and you thinking, well, I'm an adult and I ain't got to respect my mama or my daddy anymore or listen to them, you still don't think that that's not going to affect your lifespan? There's no expiration date on that commandment, is it, Jeff?
No, it's not, bro.
And I'm going to show you that it goes all the way into your parents' old age and death. Let's move on, right? Let's go back to Exodus chapter 21. Let me tell you how serious the Most High is about this commandment. Nobody likes to talk about this commandment. We would rather get on Clubhouse and argue about the Trinity. If there are 3 gods or is there just one? Let's argue about who salvation is for. Is it just for Israel or is it for everybody? And there's nothing wrong with having these discussions, right? But meanwhile, our children out in the street dying and killing each other because nobody wants to talk about the commandment, honor your father and your mother. That's the forgotten precept. See, I like to teach y'all things that messes with your reality. See, once you get off a Clubhouse, a lot of y'all are parents. A lot of y'all are grandparents, right? I like to teach y'all things that once you log off of Clubhouse, it can be applied to your reality. Yes, the Sabbath is supposed to be an escape from the rigors and evils of the world. But it's also supposed to prepare you for how to deal with the evils and rigors of the world. We forget that sometimes. Coming on here and arguing about the Trinity is not going to prepare you for the real world. That's not going to help you raise your children correctly. It's not going to help you be a better husband or a better wife. These things are supposed to have a point. The Bible is all about your life, sisters and brothers. We forget that sometimes. We really do. This is the whole point of you studying the Bible. Other than trying to get salvation, it's supposed to teach you how to live your everyday, day-to-day life better and become more fulfilled and have joy and peace in the Holy Spirit. That's the reason why y'all supposed to come here to listen to Brother Josh and anybody else who you listen to. We forget that. You're supposed to get a recharge every Sabbath. That's why it's a day of rest. When you rest, You are recharging your body physically. You are recharging your mental, spiritually. By the time sunset Saturday comes, you are supposed to be ready to take on the world again. You're not supposed to get out of Clubhouse when the Sabbath is over, or leave your church or your camp when the Sabbath is over, irritated and bothered and angry. That's how a lot of y'all get off the Clubhouse on the Sabbath. You mad and irritated. You opening rooms attacking people. That is a Sabbath wasted. I'm going to have to do a whole class titled Disturbing the Peace of the Sabbath. And y'all have let a lot of people disturb your peace on the Sabbath. It's a day of rest, relaxation, winding down, comfort. That's why it makes sense to me that the Sabbath starts at sundown, because metaphorically, it's like the sun is slowly getting ready to take a break. It's been up all day doing its job, working, going down. Even in pagan cultures, they thought the sun was a god, and when it went down, they thought the sun was going to sleep. You feel me? So even in their pagan cultures, metaphorically or symbolically, they could see that the sun was giving it a rest. That's why most people go to sleep at night. It coincides with the sun. S-U-N. We have forgotten that. So when I teach stuff, I like to teach stuff that can be applied to your life, that can help your life. This is what the Bible is for. You know, people say Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving earth. That's not really what it stands for, but that's a good acronym to remember. It's supposed to instruct you on how to live. And look at our children. Look at this generation. This is a generation that does not honor father and mother. In fact, you are encouraged to be disrespectful. But we're going to Exodus 21. We're going to read verse 15, and then we're going to skip. Exodus 21, verse 15. When you get there, read it.
Exodus chapter 41, verse 15. And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death.
See, they didn't play this in ancient Israel. You got these children today and adults who literally put hands on their parents. In ancient Israel, if you put your hands on either one of your parents, then the penalty was death. And I know a lot of y'all don't, and I'm not, judging anybody. I know a lot of y'all don't fault your kids, and I know some of y'all don't fault your parents. In the Bible, in ancient times, if you put your hands on your parents, and again, it does not give an age here, does it, Jeff? Does it?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
That means you could be an adult. You could be 35 years old and put your hand on your 65-year-old mother or father, death penalty. Raise your hands at your parents. You would be executed. See, God did not play about this. Honor your father and your mother. And the underage children in ancient Israel, you think their parents didn't tell them that? Put your hands on me if you want. You know how we be, putting these like empty threats in our kids. Say, talk back, I'm going to kill you. See, in ancient Israel, that was real. I wish you would put your hands on me. You're going to die. They told their children that. Put your hands on me if you want to. We're going to kill you.
And that makes sense, because if we were living in the land and children actually saw another child being stoned or whatever, that'll shock them, but you'll have less disrespect.
Exactly. Can you imagine right now, you know how these children be real disrespectful and be fighting their parents and cursing them out and all that, and we're going to deal with the cursing out and disrespectful words too. But could you imagine that if it was the law in America that said we're going to publicly execute any child that does that, like, like a teenager, you know what I mean, that know better, it would be no children doing that. Man, y'all seen what they did to Quincy yesterday? They stoned that dude to death in front of everybody because he slapped his mama. I ain't about to even think about doing that. God did not play about honoring your parents. We got to teach our kids to respect us. We got to teach them that, and it's non-negotiable. Y'all be out there trying to negotiate with your kids, bargaining with them. Not me. If they real young, I keep telling y'all, don't explain anything to them. Just tell them what to do. You be seeing parents sitting down with 5-year-old children explaining to them why they can't know. Oh, all you need to know at that age, make your job simple, parents. You got a lot of stuff going on in your life. Make it easier on yourself. Just tell them no. Children at that age anyway don't need all of that. They only understand yes and no mostly anyway. They don't even understand all of that. When they get older, then you start giving them the reasons behind the rules. But you got little 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-olds? No. Mom, how come I have to go to bed at 9 o'clock because I said so? Well, I heard you, but what? Like I said, because I said so. You don't explain anything to children. Children do not deserve explanations until they get older. Once they're old enough to understand the reason behind the rules, then you start explaining stuff to them. What I like trying to explain something to a 4-year-old. Dad, why can't I stick my finger in the socket? Because I said so. You'll get hurt. I'm not going to sit up here and explain the concept of electricity and current passing through their body and making their heart defibrillate and making it stop and they lay out dead. You ain't going to do all that to no child, is you, Jeff?
No, sir. I remember my father used to make us go to bed. He had to come in before dark and go to bed at 9 o'clock while all the other friends were outside playing and having fun. And he told me, he's like, watch what happens to them when they get older. And I understood because all of my friends got locked up. I was the only one that didn't go to jail.
Exactly. But he didn't feel inclined to give you a detailed explanation back then, did he?
No, sir. And I got older then, I got a little breakdown. But that was it.
Right. You have people having whole entire conversations with their children about complex issues and posting that thing on social media like that's cute. You are a dumb parent. Not dumb in the sense of lacking intelligence. You're dumb because you're working against yourself. Now, don't get it twisted. I know there are some prodigies out there, children that are beyond their years, and they got inquisitive minds. Yes, you're supposed to cultivate those type of kids. But as far as like the rules, no. You tell them no. You don't give them any explanation. When they're old enough to understand the reason behind the rules, that's when you start explaining that. That's why you have to tell your children so they can know disrespect will not be tolerated. And in ancient Israel, if you put your hands on your parents, you died. Wasn't no fighting your parents and stuff. I remember when I was in school, I had to have kids, and I got into a fight with my dad the other night. You got into a fight with your dad? Yeah, I was fighting him and everything. In ancient Israel, that would have been something you better hope it never got out. But let me show you another one. Still in Exodus 21, skip right down and read verse 17, Jim.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 17. And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
If you curse your father or mother, you will surely be put to death. That means saying some really disrespectful things to them or wishing something bad on them. You know how some people we get mad, man, I wish you were dead. Well, you about to be. They didn't play that in ancient Israel. You couldn't even say reviling or blasphemous things towards your parents. They killed people back then. And again, there is no age limit on this. It doesn't just talk about children, because when we read this, we like to psychologically think of underage children doing this to their adult parents. No. This is a parent-child demographic, period. And child does not mean kid or baby. It just means the relationship, parent and child, of any age. That means as an adult, you could not do this. There's no age limit on this. Why am I pointing this out? Because we think when we become grown up, we can talk to our parents any kind of way now. Well, I got my own house. I don't live under their roof anymore, so I can say anything I want to my mom and my dad. No, you cannot. You are still breaking that commandment. Nobody touches on this part, Jeff. They think honor your father and mother. Be honest, Jeff, whenever you heard this, then you always get the impression by the person that was teaching it that it was always like adult parents and toward their children.
Right. And sometimes that's just fine with parents. Like, well, you get out my house, then you can do what you want, whatever. So sometimes they think that might be it, that they can talk back and talk to them any way they want.
And you can. You're still supposed to honor your parents. Now, of course, the Bible says, like, you know, when a man gets married, he leaves father and mother. I mean, he's starting his own house with his own rules. But you're still supposed to respect your parents.
That's right.
You can't be disrespecting them. You're still supposed to listen to them, at least to some degree. The Bible is vague on how much you're supposed to listen to your parents as far as, like, obedience once you get your own. It's very vague on that, so I can't really speak on that. But I know it's not vague about that respect lasting a lifetime. We're not supposed to put our hands on our parents, and we're not supposed to talk back to them or wish bad things on them. I mean, you don't be saying F you to your parents like I hear some of these kids be saying. And adults do it too. I don't see an adult curse out their parents before. That's what I want y'all to leave away here with today. This commandment, honor your father and mother, is talking to adults first. Children second. The 10 Commandments, all of the commandments of Israel were given to adults. And then the adults taught the children. So when you read honor your father and mother, there was not a commandment that adults were just supposed to pass down to their children. No, it was a commandment to adults to honor their adult older parents. And you got a bunch of adults walking around here thinking honor your father and mother no longer applies to them because they're grown. Now I can talk back to them. I can argue with them now. No. There is no age limit on that. If there's an age limit, somebody give me the book, chapter and verse where it says honor your father and mother until you are a father and mother yourself, or until you are an adult. Somebody show me where it says that. If it doesn't say that, that means the commandment still stands. And the way some of y'all talk to y'all parents and in-laws is a disgrace. And I'm talking about the adults. I'm not talking about the children. Because we sometimes forget we control the children. The children don't control us. Unless your child has some type of behavior problem, there is not a child on this planet that can control Brother Josh. If that child is young enough for me to be an influence and tell them, that child going to do what I say do. If that child does not do what I say do, I'm the problem. Yeah, some of y'all talk about y'all children like the children got here fully knowledgeable of stuff and just start defying you. No. You taught your children to be defiant. If your children don't listen to you, that is your fault. Unless they got some type of behavior issues or like mental illness or something. But if they're normal kids and they don't listen to you, that's your fault. You did that. You have these parents on TV. I just don't know what to do with them. Really? They're dumber than you, smaller than you, weaker than you, and cannot earn a living on their own. How are they going to beat you? Listen to yourself. How can something that is completely dependent upon you beat you? You holding out the cards. How you holding out the cards and you still losing the game, Jeff? And you holding all the cards. I don't want to hear that. I don't care if you're a single mother, single father. It don't make any difference. You are the adult. These are babies. Children scare easily. You raise your voice at a child. You know. If they don't listen to you, you are the problem. That's you. We don't want to own that. It doesn't even matter if you're a single parent. They still gonna be scared of you. Why wouldn't they be? You let them do whatever they want to do. That's all you. Then when they start getting older, you know, like into their teens, then they start developing their own personalities and, you know, quirks and things like that. But up to that point, that was all on you. You have to teach your children to respect you and how to respect you. And you got a lot of sorry parents that don't want to do that. They want to blame the children, like the children came here fully developed and ready to rebel. I ain't never seen no child come in here like this. I ain't never seen it. You ever seen anything like that, Jeff? Where the child came fully developed and knowledgeable and just ready to rebel? You ever seen anything like that?
No, sir. And I don't think a lot of adults they know that kids are smarter than what they think. They observe everything, and then they're going to emulate what you do.
Mm-hmm. Children are very smart. That's why some children will not cross one parent and disrespect the other one. Why do you think a child does that? Because they are smart enough to know, well, you know, mama let me do this, but dad won't. You got to teach your children to respect both of you equally. Fear both of you equally. Yes, your children are supposed to be afraid of you, too. I don't want my child to be afraid of me. I want my child to love me. Do you feel the Lord? Yeah. Do you also love the Lord? Yeah, so the two can coexist, can't they? They can coexist. The Bible tells you all throughout it, fear the Lord. It don't just say respect him, it also says fear him. Paul said work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Why am I trembling and shaking for it, Jeff, and I'm supposed to be afraid of the Lord? You know, you tremble when you're afraid, right, Jeff?
Yes, you do.
Your children are supposed to fear you too. Because there is no respect without any fear involved. I don't care what anybody tells you. I'm talking about in like an authoritative sense. Like, you know, because Jeff respects me, but Jeff's not afraid of me. I'm talking about in an authoritative sense, like if I was like his father or something. There has to be some fear. And even with me and Jeff, if Jeff respects me, but the fear Jeff has to respect me is toward the Lord. I'm going to respect Josh because I believe he's representing the Most High. So, but my fear that goes with that respect is not towards Josh, it's towards the Lord. So there's still going to be some fear somewhere.
That's right.
You got to have some fear if you're going to have some respect. That's just the way it goes. There's no respect without some element of fear. That's the reason why God makes your children real small when they come into the world. Because God knows naturally smaller creatures, in most cases, fear bigger creatures. That's why you let the baby come in small. So when it comes in, you're towering above it. We got to think about stuff. You got to teach them to honor you, right? But you couldn't even say stuff disrespectful to your parents. That was the death sentence. So let's move on. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 30. You couldn't curse your parents. We need to tell our children this before it's too late. Look, girl, I know we ain't really talking right now, but I'm just going to let you know. The Bible says, and you can choose to believe it or not, that if you keep disrespecting me, you're only going to shorten your days. Now, if you believe the Bible and you believe in God, you might want to check your mouth, how you talk to me. Or you might not live long enough to regret what you did. That's what the book says. And there's no age limit on it. You're supposed to respect your parents. Big baby will tell you, about a month back, we all went out to eat with my mom. And we went to Golden Corral. And I'll never forget, I was sitting next to my mom. She was sitting like at the head of the table, and I was like right next to her, like on the corner. And y'all know me. Everybody know me. Josh love the fast food. Josh love the meat. I'm a meat eater. So I piled my plate up with nothing but meat. And I wasn't thinking anything of it. And I just sat down and I just started eating. My mama said, boy, you ain't got no vegetables on that plate. You need to put some vegetables on that plate. And I just said, okay. And I finished that plate, and when I got up and got another plate, it had nothing but vegetables on it. And I said to myself, I'm like, it didn't even occur to me at first, Jeff. And I said to myself, and I even text everybody. My family will tell you this. I'm not making this up. I even text all of my family in the group text after that about what happened. I was like, dang, Mama just straight checked me and told me to put some vegetables on my plate, and I just straight did it. Like, what the heck? You feel me? And I was laughing about it, but it just reminded me about how even subconsciously, I'm still honoring and respecting what my mama tell me to do. You feel me? It's like, boy, you ain't got no vegetables on that plate. You need to put some vegetables on that plate. And I'm like, okay. Like that. And I ain't saying nothing. And got up and got a plate with nothing but veggies on it. Nothing but, Jeff.
And it was for your own good.
And it was for my own good. I wasn't even thinking about it. But that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to respect mama and daddy. You don't argue with them. You don't talk back to them. If you don't agree with what they're saying, you can let that be known, but you don't argue with your parents. You don't be sitting there raising your voice with your mom and your dad. I don't care how old they get. I don't care how old you get. That is disrespectful. And if some of y'all got the kind of parent that even as an adult, they try to put their hands on you, just remove yourself from the situation. Don't be there fighting your parents. Just get off and around now. But you don't put your hands on your parents, and you don't let one of your siblings put their hands on your parents. And you don't let them disrespect them either, not in front of you. When my younger brother was coming up, my youngest brother, not big baby, the one under my mama's youngest, he had a tendency like to try to pop off and disrespect our mama. And when I got older, like in my early 20s, he was still a teenager. He was like 5 years younger than me. After a while, I just started telling him, dude, you ain't going to be talking like that to mama in front of me, or then you're going to be fighting. You ain't doing that. You don't let your siblings do it either, not in front of you. And if you can't stop them, you tell them, as long as you talking to mama like that, don't call me, don't ask me for nothing. That's how the family structure is supposed to be. I'm not saying I agree with mom, because mom could be in the wrong. But you don't get to disrespect her and then call me the next day asking to borrow some money. It don't go like that. You got to teach your siblings to honor the father and the mother. You have to do that. You don't endorse that. You don't let them think that's cool. And if they try to put their hands on one of your parents, you put your hands on them. God does not play about that. That's how it's supposed to be. That's why the family structure is deteriorating. You don't get to talk to my mama like that. I don't care if you're the oldest son. I tell my older brother that, the firstborn, look, dude. And he won't let us do it. I remember when I was younger, and I used to pop off a little bit in front of him, and he jacked me up. Don't you tell the mama like that. And I ain't never heard him disrespect my mama. That's how it's supposed to be. You got to let the other siblings know. No, you cannot do that. You're supposed to enforce that respect to mom and dad, especially if you one of the older siblings. You're supposed to enforce that. So I just want y'all to think about that. Let's go to Proverbs 30. That's how it's supposed to be. You don't let nobody disrespect your parents. You don't let your wife disrespect your mama or your daddy. And you don't let your husband disrespect your mama or your daddy. if you a wife. That don't mean you usurping your husband. You just telling your husband that's a sin. You don't supposed to be disrespecting my mom or my dad. Well, they disrespecting me, then let's get off and around them. But we ain't gonna disrespect our parents back. I'm not gonna disrespect yours. You're not gonna disrespect mine. We ain't gonna disrespect our own. That's how it's supposed to be. I never did that. Even when I broke up with my baby mom and I had to come over there and pick up my son, everybody tell you. And her mom used to just be saying just crazy stuff to me. I never once disrespected her back. Not verbally, not even looked at her funny. Because I was teaching the word even back then, y'all. And I knew back then, you don't disrespect the parent. You just don't do that. It's Proverbs 30. We're going to read verse 11, and then we're going to skip, Jeff. All right? Proverbs 30, verse 11. Go ahead and read.
Proverbs chapter 30, verse 11. There's a generation that curses their father and does not bless their mother.
See, Solomon was saying, even back then, there is a generation that curses their father and does not bless their mother. This is parallelism. This is just saying there's a generation that either curses both of their parents or don't bless either one of them, which means the same thing. There was a generation back then that was doing that, and that's the generation that does that now. That's why it's important for you to know the relationship your children's friends have with their parents. Because some of your children's friends don't respect their parents, and your child over at their house watching them disrespect their parents, and they bring that back around you, thinking they gonna do you like that. Or even worse, their friend will tell them, you ain't got to listen to your mom and dad. That's why you want to know. And you got to tell your children, yo, you can't hang around Jimmy anymore. I don't like the way you talk to his dad. You can't hang around him. You can't hang around Kim no more. I don't like the way she be talking back to her mama. You can't do that. Well, why not? Because you going to pick up some of that and you going to bring that over here. And then you're going to be picking up your teeth. I don't want you to do that. You got to be careful who your children associate with. Because a lot of these children are brought up not to respect their parents. And your child is hanging around them 24/7, just absorbing all of that negative behavior. Now you wondering why your child coming back, talking back to you. What's gotten into you, boy? I don't got to listen to you. You can't tell me what to do. You didn't teach them that. So where'd they get it from? You got to watch these influences. You got to make sure that, and this is something that I want people to know, you got to make sure that your children have a dominant personality when it comes to their friends. They can't be passive. They got to have a dominant personality. No, I'm not going to follow you. You're going to do how I do it. That's how you got to have your children be when it comes to other kids. Because peer pressure is something else, y'all. It's something else. You got to have your children's friends coming over to your house and seeing the way you are respected by your children, and they take that back to their parents. I remember when I was growing up, we were respectful to my mom and my stepdad, but I don't been to some households where, boy, I was so scared. This child was so respectful, I thought his dad was going to whoop me. You feel me? Like that dude was, yes, sir. No, sir. Bobby, tell your little friend that it's time for him to go. It's getting late. Yo, you heard him, bro. You got to get up out of here. You feel me? He did not play. He did not play. I'm telling you, man, that's how it was. You got to teach your kids to be like that. You don't want your kids to be part of that generation that cursed their father and does not bless their mother. And again, I keep telling y'all, this is not an age limit. I like to use the children as an example, but this is talking to adults too. Right? But skip down, Jeff, and read verse 17. Watch what it says.
Proverbs chapter 30, verse 17. The eye that mocketh at his father and despises to obey his mother, the ravens of the valley shall pick it out, and the young eagles shall eat it.
Man, that's pretty graphic, isn't it? It says, the eye that mocketh at his father, that means you're looking at your father with disrespectful eyes or insulting eyes, like you're making fun of him, right? And despises to obey his mother. The ravens of the valley shall, and the young eagles, and some translations say vultures or buzzards, shall eat it. It's describing a carcass, like a dead body just laying out in the middle of nowhere where the birds are pecking his eyes out. This is just a poetic way of saying that a person who does not honor their parents are going to die a violent death, a violent and unholy death. Your body just laying out in the open. This is how serious they were honoring father and mother. If that either of you look at them in a mocking way. No, some parents like, you better get that look off your face. Even if you looked at them with that disrespect in your heart, the Bible says this is what's in store for you. You got to teach your children this. We got children break curfew, we don't do nothing. What you even got a curfew for if you ain't going to enforce it? You tell children don't bring certain stuff in your house, they bring it anyway, you do nothing. You're killing your own kids. Because the Bible says that if they disrespect you, they're shortening their own days. So it's your job to teach them to respect you. So if you don't teach them to respect you, you're killing your own kids. A lot of us are killing our own children and don't even realize it. You're doing that. You have to teach them to respect you. You teach your children to respect your rules. If you don't teach your children to respect you and your rules, then when they break your rules and something happens to them, whose fault is that? That's you. If you tell your child to be home at 11 o'clock at night, and they don't listen to you, and they stay out late, and they out at 1 o'clock in the morning, and they get into something and end up getting hurt or killed because you did not enforce the curfew the first time it was broken. You just let them keep on breaking. And then if something happens to them while continuing to disrespect that rule and you, then you killed your kid. These are some harsh truths that a lot of us as parents need to hear. You got to teach them to honor father and mother. And if you don't, or like I said, unless something's wrong with them like mentally where they just got behavior problems, if you don't teach them, you are killing them. You're shortening their days. You're doing it. A lot of parents talk about the children that they lost to gang violence and things like that out in these streets. What was your child doing out in the streets in the first place? Where were you? Did you know your child was out in the street? Did you ever tell your child to be home at a certain time? Yeah. So what did you do the very first time he defied that rule? What did you do? Can you honestly say you did everything, the rules around your house, and to make your child respect you? Can you honestly say you did that? Because if you didn't, that child's death is on you. See, this is the harsh reality of honor your father and mother. It has to be enforced by father and mother. And it's supposed to be helped by the older siblings. You have a firstborn child, an older child, he don't let the younger children disrespect you. If I am a father, like, I got a son. He's 18. I don't have any more biological kids. Well, let's just say he had a younger brother who was like 15, and he saw him disrespect me. My 18-year-old supposed to be on my 15-year-old before I can even get to my 15-year-old. That's how it's supposed to be. He's supposed to be in his mouth before me. Boy, don't you talk to dad like that. What's wrong with you? That's how it be in some of these Asian cultures. Don't y'all know in some Asian cultures, like Japanese culture, the younger brother doesn't even address the older brother by his name. He's just called Big Brother. They don't even call him by his name. He Big Brother. That's what they call him. And if Big Brother sees little brother disrespect dad or mom in front of him, Big Brother gonna be all over little brother. That's how it's supposed to be. You teach the oldest, honor father and mother. And then he makes sure he teach everybody behind him, and he let it be known. Disrespect one of them in front of me. I'm going to be all over you. That's how it's supposed to be. Right, Jeff?
Right, right.
That's how it's supposed to be. But now, let's move on. Let's go. Still in Proverbs. Let's turn back to chapter 1. You don't let nobody do no mess like that. You don't be up here arguing with your parents as an adult. You don't do that. That is hella disrespectful. If you cannot have a conversation with your mother or father without it turning into an argument, then stop talking to them. You can even let them know, Mom, I don't want to talk to you because I don't want to disrespect you because I know it's going to turn into one of these situations. I'm not going to talk to you. But don't let them cause you to sin. I don't care what you think about them. I don't care how horrible of a parent they were. It doesn't matter. I don't see any stipulation on this commandment, and I don't see an expiration date on it. If somebody can show it to me, I am willing to look. But if you can't show it to me, that means that, hey, you got to honor them for life. And take care of them. Oh, I'm going to show y'all that too. Honor means take care of them, by the way. Because I don't want y'all walking out of here, well, I respect them, but I ain't doing nothing for them. No, that means you're not honoring them then. You're supposed to take care of them. Yeah. In ancient Israel, that's how they knew that. And I'm going to show you later that Israel became so wicked that they even came up with a loophole to get out of honoring their father and mother. That's messed up, ain't it, Joe?
Yes, it is, man. Wow.
That's how wicked they are. Notice I said are. I ain't say were. Are. So they feel like that now.
Right.
Now check this out. This is Proverbs chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 8 to 9. Read that, please.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother.
Now look what this is saying. He said, my son, this is Solomon talking, hear the instruction of your father and forsake not the law of your mother. This is not talking about the laws of the Most High, y'all. Even though I'm pretty sure in ancient Israel, any instructions that the father and the mother gave were based off the laws of the Most High. But what this is basically saying is the rules that they set up. It says, my son, hear the instruction of your father, and forsake not the law of your mother. This is parallelism, saying the same thing, just a little differently the second time. All it's saying in a nutshell is obey the rules and the regulations of your parents. And he's going to tell you why. Go ahead and read.
Verse 9. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck.
So like jewelry, you're supposed to wear the instructions, the rules of your parents proudly, like fine jewelry. This doesn't sound like something that he's discouraging people to do. You're supposed to be proud to honor your parents. Their rules which shape you is supposed to be seen to you as beautiful jewelry. That's how the rest of the world's supposed to see you. You're representing them when you're out here. He's telling you, listen to your parents. Right? He says, for they shall be in ornament, what shall be? The instruction of your father and the law of your mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto your head and chains about your neck. Now, we love to wear gold chains and stuff, yes. That's what your parents' instructions are supposed to be for you. Again, this is addressing mainly adults. I want y'all to understand that. I want y'all to get out y'all mindset that honor your father and mother is just talking about the relationship between adults and their underage children. It's talking about anybody with parents, regardless of your age. If you have parents, honor your father and mother is talking to you. That's who it's talking to. Got nothing to do with your age, old or young. If you have parents, that commandment is talking to you. There's no expiration date on it. There's no stipulations on it. And the crazy thing about it is, as I'm going to show you, this also includes the in-laws. You ain't my mama. You just my mother-in-law. No, she's your mom too now. That's your daddy. I ain't got to listen to him. No, that's your daddy too now. That's the book. I'm going to show it to you. We going to read it. Got to respect them too. We wouldn't even understand that. And then you wonder why your spouse, your wife, don't respect your mama because you don't respect her daddy. Why she gonna respect your mama and you don't respect her dad? You tell her every night before you go to bed, I really don't like your dad. Now that may not bother her on the surface, but if she really loves her dad, then she's gonna feel the ways about you, and she may not come at you, but she'll come at your mama. Well, I don't like your mama. And now you wondering why your marriage is starting to fail because both of y'all are not honoring your mother and father, and you don't understand that mother and father also includes in-laws. Y'all don't understand that. Or both of y'all think y'all grown, and neither one of you has to listen to either of your parents or each other's parents, which is odd because you're living with them. See, that's the thing. You're supposed to honor your parents whether you live with them or not. But you got people who want to live with their parents or their in-laws and still be there arguing with them and disrespecting them. What the hell is wrong with y'all? You don't live in their house and dishonor them? And like I said at the beginning of this class, if you don't like their rules, get out of their house and respect them from a distance. If you already know you built like that, like if I know I'm a dude who built like, I don't want nobody, I don't even like listening to my own parents. If you know you built like that, then why would you put yourself in a situation where you got to listen to somebody else's parents? You don't even really like listening to your own. That's on you. Hurry up and make moves to get up out of their house. Fulfill what it said in Genesis. Leave father and mother and cleave to your wife. Now, I'm not saying that situations can't happen. Y'all know I keep it real. Y'all know that. But if you find yourself in that situation, you have to swallow a lot of pride. You got to be obedient. You got to follow their rules. If they want the whole house to shut down at 10 o'clock at night, then guess what? The whole house shutting down at 10 o'clock at night. That's their house. I had to learn that as an adult. When my mom got older, my mom didn't like all that noise. You know, I'm in my prime. I'm 20 years old. I still want friends come over. I want them over 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. My mom in there trying to sleep. I think my mom was so unfair. Man, I'm an adult now. You know, but my mama don't want to hear all that. I got to respect that. I had to learn that. Well, I'm helping pay rent too. Why can't I? They ain't got nothing to do with that. That's her house. She don't want all that noise up in there. If I don't like that, I need to move out where I can have people coming in and staying over until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what it means to honor your father and mother. That means you got to honor their rules. Well, let's move on. We stopped at verse 9. Okay. Still in Proverbs. Let's go to chapter 28. I keep it real, don't it, Jeff? I tell it like it is. Y'all need to hear this. No matter how bad they are, you gotta respect them. I don't care how bad they are. And if you can't be around them without disrespecting them, then remove yourself from around them. It's that simple. But there is no excuse. There is no exemption. I've never seen any reason why God gave you license to disrespect your parents. I haven't seen it. You can disobey them if they try to get you to do something that goes against God's word. Yeah, you can do that. But other than that, disrespect for parents was not tolerated. You put your hands on them, you die. You talk back to them or curse them or revile them, you die. God did not play about that. So you need to be just as serious with this honor your father and mother commandment. You have to teach your children to respect you. Children don't come in this world automatically knowing how to respect you. If your children are disrespecting you, you taught them that. I didn't tell my child to talk back to me, Josh, no, but when the first time you let them do it and get away with it, you taught them that that's okay. So in a way, you did teach them to disrespect you. You taught them that. You got to stop this blame shifting. You had these kids. These are your kids. You are the adult. I don't know no baby came into this world calling shots. I don't know no baby that ever did that. We teach our children to defy us and then get mad at them when they defy us. That doesn't make any sense. We send our children mixed messages. We do that. And then get mad at them. We are the parents. They listen to us. Your children will listen to you. You got to make them do it. That's why God made you bigger and stronger. That's why babies come in this world weak and small. Wouldn't it be messed up, Jeff, if God made babies come in this world as big and as strong as us and as knowledgeable as us? It would be messed up. God made babies be born small, weak, afraid, and highly impressionable. They are sponges. They are blank slates. So however they turn out, it's on you mostly. And we raise them up a certain way and then want to blame them. We teach our children to disrespect us. We teach them not to honor us. And then we want to get on social media and whine about our children. And I don't care if you are a single parent. I can be a single parent. You can line up 3, 5, 10, 2-year-old toddlers in front of me. They can just be lined up. I guarantee you they're going to all listen to me. I can promise you that. Because I'm bigger than them, I'm smarter than them, and I'm stronger than them. And I can scare them. They're going to all listen to me.
Also, that's a cancer. I mean, also it spreads like a cancer because then it affects how they behave in school. And also it's respect and authority when it comes to law enforcement.
That's right.
Second right there, it keeps society stable.
Exactly. You got to do that. You got to teach them. Y'all let these kids do what they want to do. Y'all killing your own kids because you did not teach them honor thy father and mother. You did not teach them that. And now they're out here shortening their own lives, affecting you. And by the way, Big Bro just came in. Somebody bring him up. But now we're going to Proverbs 28. One verse, Jeff. Verse 24. Read that for me, please.
Proverbs chapter 28, verse 24. Whoso robbeth his father or his mother and saith, it is no transgression, the same is the companion of a destroyer.
Now look what it says right there. He whoso robbeth his father or his mother and saith, it is no transgression, like it's not a sin, I didn't do anything wrong. The same is the companion of a destroyer. I mean, you're no better than a destroyer if you steal from your own parents. And there are people who do that. You're no better than a destroyer. You got people stealing from their old parents. You got children stealing from their parents, going in their mother's purse, using their credit card information to buy stuff that they did not give you permission to buy. That's you robbing your parents. All of this stuff falls under honoring your father and mother. All this stuff falls under that. You have to teach your kids that. And you still have to do it as an adult. How do you expect your child to respect you as an adult when he sees you cursing out his grandmother, which is your mother, or his grandmother, which is your mother-in-law? You don't respect grandma, I shouldn't have to respect you. They have to see that respect is lifelong. You have to show them that. You don't become an adult and then become disrespectful. You have to teach your children that the respect you have for me has to last for the rest of your life, for the rest of my life. You're supposed to be teaching your kids that they are supposed to be ready to take care of you in old age. That's how they did it in ancient Israel. I'm going to show y'all that. That's what they taught. Your child ain't going to want to take care of you if you teaching them to disrespect you. They ain't going to care about you like that. So I got so many old parents right now living in nursing homes that the state had to put them in because the kids don't care about them. Your children are supposed to love you and respect you, and they're supposed to be ready to take care of you in your old age. That's what you're supposed to be teaching your children. You don't have to take care of me one day. You should be ready to. And you should want to do it. You should want to do that for your parents. Some of us, oh man, our mom is such a burden. You know, she's in a wheelchair now. She can't do it. That's how we be feeling now. No, evil. You're supposed to be thinking like that. We're going to read some stuff. Y'all going to see some stuff today, man. We got the whole game messed up. Y'all thought this under your father and mother class. I know a lot of y'all thought you just going to be in just telling us that children supposed to listen to their parents. Y'all know, y'all should know me better than that. Y'all know Joshua even taught y'all intelligence was such a milk class like that. Nah, we gonna get deep. I'm gonna let you know some stuff about yourself that you probably didn't know. You may not be the best child. See, a lot of us so focused on being parents ourselves, we don't even realize we're horrible children, adult children. And I'm talking about 35, 40, 45, 50-year-olds. You still disrespect your dad. You still mad at your dad for something he didn't do when you were growing up. You still talking to him any kind of way. You still disrespecting your dad and your mom. You still arguing with your mom and dad. You're not supposed to do that. Ever. It's never okay for you to argue with your parents. Ever. If you disagree with them, let them know you disagree and end it. Just let them talk. You can stand there and just let them run their mouth, then fine. But if not, just leave. I'm finna leave because I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to disrespect you, Mom. I don't want to disrespect you, Pop. I'm out of here. That's what you do. We've been arguing and cursing and all of that. You ain't supposed to be cursing in front of your mom if you can help it. Be respectful. Like when you were growing up as a kid, unless you had a horrible parent, you didn't curse in front of your parents. So as an adult, at least try to keep that respect going. No, don't curse in front of mom. Don't curse in front of dad. Don't do that. That's how it's supposed to be. We become adults and we think, yay, now we can just be disrespectful. we're equals with them now. No, you're not. That's still your mama and that's still your dad. You're not equal with them. It's only equal when you have a child and you give birth to them, your own parents. You didn't carry your mama for no 9 months. She carried you. You will never be equal with her in that regard. You may have your own kids, but unless you can turn around and give birth to her, your own mom, you will never be equal with her in that regard. She gave you life. They gave you life, not the other way around. You will never be equal. They will always outrank you. And they're supposed to get unconditional respect. And that includes in-laws. And I'm going to show y'all that right now. Let's go to Tobit in the Apocrypha. We're going to Tobit chapter 10. A lot of y'all thought that y'all were free and clear because you a grown man. You a grown woman. You don't disrespect your parents. You don't talk back to them. You don't argue with them. You can talk back to your friends. You can talk back, you know what I'm saying, to your siblings. You can argue with them, but you don't argue with mom and dad. You can disagree with them. I don't want y'all to think you can't disagree with them. You can disagree with them, but be respectful. I'm not going to have no long back and forth with my mom and my dad. You don't do that. You let them know I don't agree, and then let them say whatever they're going to say. If you can stand and sit there and listen to it, you just, okay? But all that back and forth, no. Well, how can you say that, Josh? Because when you were a kid, that back and forth was disrespectful. So unless y'all can show me there's an age limit to respect, or what's respectful and what's not, then you got to do the same thing for life. How can you show me that? It's the same thing for life. If it was disrespectful for you to be arguing with them as a child, then it's disrespectful for you to argue with them as an adult. How did the disrespect change just because you got older? You still got to respect them. Now, of course, it's a little bit more leeway because, you know, you can express yourself better than you're an adult, but you still don't disrespect them. And if you can't deal with them without going there with them, then get off and around them. Simple as plain. If they did you wrong, you have a right to tell them that. You can tell them the wrong they did to you. That's not disrespectful. You know, Mom, you know, when I was growing up, you did some stuff, man, that was pretty messed up. It took me a long time to forgive you. And I'm still dealing with it. But you don't be, you B and you H and you know, no, you don't do all that. That's disrespectful now. You can express your hurt without being disrespectful. But this is Tobit, chapter 10. We're going to read verses 8 to 13. This is when Tobit's son, Tobias, was going to visit and get his wife, Sarah, from his in-laws. And his wife's father, or rather his father-in-law, Tobias' father-in-law, was named Raguel. Now he's getting ready to leave and go back to his parents because he's been gone so long, Tobias, that his parents think that he might be dead. So Raguel wanted him to stay longer, but he insisted, no, I got to get back because I've been gone so long. My parents ain't even checking for me no more. They think I'm dead. So we're going to read Tobit chapter 10, verses 8 to 13. And this is on page 31 in the Apocryphal section of the Septuagint. Chapter 10, verses 8 to 13. Let's see what it says about these in-laws. Go ahead and read.
Tobit chapter 10, verse 8. Let me go, for my father and my mother look no more to see.
Mm-hmm.
But his father-in-law said unto him, Tarry with me, and I will send to thy father, and they shall declare unto him how things go with thee.
Mm-hmm.
But Tobias said, No, but let me go to my father.
So Tobias said, no, let me go to my father. My father been waiting for me. They don't even think I'm even alive. They ain't even checking for me no more. Right? But go ahead and read.
Then Raguel arose and gave him Sarah his wife, and half his goods, servants, cattle, and money.
So then Raguel rose and gave him Sarah, this is Raguel's daughter, gave him Sarah, his wife, and half his goods, servants, and cattle, and money. Boy, Jeff, wouldn't it be good if you married a woman and her father gave you all that? Boy, that would be just lovely. But keep reading.
Verse 12. And he blessed them and sent them away, saying, the God of heaven give you a prosperous journey, my children.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to his daughter, honor thy father and thy mother-in-law, which are now thy parents, that I may hear good report of thee.
Look what he said. And he said to his daughter, Raguel said to Sarah, honor your father and your mother-in-law, which are now what, Jeff?
Which are now thy parents.
Which are now your parents. Her own father told her that your father-in-law and mother-in-law are now your parents and to respect them. Anybody actual biological parents told them to respect their in-laws as their own parents when they knew they was about to get married? Keep it up. I'm talking to the married people on the stage. Ariel, did your dad tell you to do that? Jeff?
No, sir.
Trill on the phone. I know he married, but he on the phone. I don't think nobody on the stage who's married. Ariel? You waking up real bad, Ariel. You in the matrix.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I said, did your dad tell you?
You hear me? My loud?
Yeah, we hear you. Can you hear me? Yes, we hear you. Can you hear me, Ariel?
Oh, no.
You're good. Did you hear the question? Did you hear the question, Ariel?
I can't for connection now.
Yeah. Just leave and come back in.
Yeah, you asked that my dad. My dad told me the same thing he told Toby, I believe.
He didn't. He told you to respect your in-laws as your own parents. That's good. I don't know too many parents that did that. But the point is, he knew in ancient Israel culture that when you marry somebody, their parents become yours. And he said, honor them, which means respect them. So you know that means he also saw Tobias as his own son. In fact, look what he said to them. He said, in verse 11, then Raguel arose and gave him Sarah his wife and half his goods, servants and cattle and money, and he blessed them and sent them away, saying, the God of heaven give you a proper journey, my children. Did he say my children, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
My children. Meaning, I'm your dad now too. Tobias, they understood that. He said, honor your father and mother-in-law, which are now your parents. That's how you're supposed to see your in-laws. That's a whole second set of parents that you are supposed to be honoring. So honor your father and mother also applies to in-laws. You are not exempt from respecting your in-laws. You disrespect them, you're going to shorten your life. Just like if you were disrespecting your biological parents. That's how they saw it in ancient Israel, and that's how they still see it today. That's why when a lot of people get married today, they call their in-laws mom and dad. That's an ancient tradition that came from the Bible. And Sarah's father knew that. That's why he let his wife know, look, those your parents now too. Respect them too. And look what it says. It says, honor thy father and thy mother-in-law. He's even saying it almost identical to how it reads in the Ten Commandments, isn't he, Joe?
Yes, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because he knew that. You don't sit there arguing with your mother-in-law or your father-in-law. You respect them just like you respect your own parents. You don't tell your wife, I ain't got to respect your mama, that's your mama. No, that's your mama too, fool. You don't tell your husband, I don't like your daddy. I'm not going to listen to him. He ain't my daddy. It is your daddy, fool. When you marry somebody, you marry the whole family. That's the way it goes. That's how families join. That's how families combine. That's how kinships are formed. You're supposed to respect that girl's mom just like you respecting your own mom. And you're supposed to respect that boy's mom just like you respecting your own mama. And you wonder why a lot of in-laws don't like their children's choice of spouse. Because they can see the disrespect that their spouse is going to be toward them. They can see the disrespect. That's why your mama don't like your girlfriend, because your girlfriend don't respect her. That's why your daddy don't like your girlfriend. That's why your daddy don't like your boyfriend. Because he can see dude don't got no respect.
That's right. That's right, bro.
And you mad at your mama. Mama, why don't you like Sarah? She disrespectful. Look how she looks at me. Look how she talks to me. Look how she rolls her eyes at me every time she come around. I don't like her. She ain't coming here trying to be respectful. Sometimes your parents be right about who you pick. It ain't got nothing to do with them, oh, ain't nobody good enough for my baby. No, it ain't always that. Sometimes they can just see the disrespectful nature of your mate. And then they come to find out that your mate don't even respect their own parents. You think your mate finna come in here respecting your parent and they don't even respect their own? That's why the person you marry, you better make sure they got respect for their parents. Because you know if they don't respect their own parents, they ain't about to respect yours. Well, think about this, honoring our father, our mother. All I know, man, she cute. You know what I'm saying? And she do that thing in the bedroom. I'm finna wife that. Dude, she don't even respect her mama or her dad. And you got a close relationship with your mama. How you think that's gonna play out? See, I'm real big on that. I can't stand a chick who don't respect her parents. I'm just letting y'all know that now. I cannot stand that. I'm not saying that she's supposed to stay there and just let her parents abuse her and like the abuse. I'm not talking about that. But a chick who's always at odds with her mom or her dad, don't you wipe that. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Because she sure probably ain't going to respect you either. We'll be thinking about stuff like she tell y'all, man, this ain't just some typical honor your father and mother class. I go deep. I go hard. Y'all know that. I give y'all stuff to think about. That's why Raguel let Tobias know, I'm going to tell my daughter to honor your mother and father because those are her parents now, too. So that's deep right now. Talk about them in-laws. So when I talk about them in-laws, they talk about my mama and my daddy as opposed to your mama and your daddy. Now, those are our parents. And I'm going to respect yours, and you're going to respect mine, and we're going to respect our own. That's how it's supposed to go. Well, let's move on. Still in the Apocrypha. Let's go to Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3. It's on page 76 in the Apocrypha section of the Septuagint. We're going to read some stuff. A lot of us come from cultures where we're supposed to automatically hate our in-laws. In case y'all forgot, once you get into the Bible, you got to abandon your current culture. That's the whole thing about changing. Some of us want to try to make our culture coincide with our newfound understanding of the scriptures. No. If it goes against the Bible, you got to cut it loose. I don't care how rich your culture is. Well, we have a rich tradition that spans back hundreds. I don't care what the book says. If it goes against the book, I don't care anything about it. It got to go. Well, you have to understand, Josh, I come from a culture where we only respect our own parents. Then you need to go ahead and marry that culture and get out my face because I'm not going to marry you. Go marry your culture then. Or better yet, go marry a dude from your culture. You got all these dudes that agree with your culture, but you want to jump in my face and try to impose your culture on me, and it goes against the scriptures. Now, if it don't go against the scriptures, yeah, I'll embrace your culture right along with you. But if your culture is anti-in-laws, we cannot get married. Go marry somebody else in your culture that hold that same belief. You got people with this anti-in-law culture, but the Bible says you're supposed to respect the in-laws just like your own parents. So that means the culture got to go. You have to understand when you get into this word, you got to unlearn a lot of BS you were brought up in. Just because it's a rich culture doesn't mean it's correct. You got to unlearn a lot of that stuff. And a lot of people want to marry you, but don't want to let go of their culture that goes against the Bible. Then get mad at you because you think you got to leave that behind. Well, what's worse, they'll give you the impression that the Bible is more important than their culture, and then you get to marry them, you find out now they still hold that culture higher than the Bible. See, that's what's really messed up. So you better make sure right now, if you single right now and you got some chick in mind you dating or some dude in mind you dating, you need to ask them right now, hey, are you going to be able to respect my parents the same way you respect your own? No, let me rephrase that because you don't even respect your own damn parents. Are you going to start respecting both of our parents, both sets of parents? I need for that to happen before I can be your husband or before I can be your wife. I need to hear that. Well, no, man, I ain't gonna ever respect my mom. She put me through so much. Now, I can't marry you then, dude. That's what you need to tell them. What y'all do? Y'all marry him anyway. And then wonder why he has no respect for your mama. Don't even respect his own mama. C-Rock, also known as Ecclesiasticus chapter 3. We're going to read verses 1 to 16 because he had a lot to say about this. And it's on page, again, 76 in the Apocrypha section. Go ahead and read, Jeff.
21 and 64. Okay. Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, verse 1. Hear me, your father, O children, and do thereafter, that ye may be safe.
Mm-hmm.
For the Lord hath given the father honor over the children, and hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the son.
He said, for the Lord hath given the father honor over the children. That's that respect. And have confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. So yes, the mother outranks the sons. Just in case y'all were wondering, man. Right? In the family unit. The mother outranks the sons. Don't be saying, I'm a man. No, the mother still outrank you. But continue.
Verse 3. Whoso honoreth his father maketh an atonement for his sin.
Wait a minute. Whoso honoreth his father make an atonement for his sin? And this is not the only thing in the Apocrypha or the Bible that talks about certain things you can do that can atone your sin or wash away your sin. See, we don't think about stuff like this. But watch what else it says, because you're going to hear some stuff that we talked about earlier. Go ahead and read.
Verse 4. And he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure.
And he that respects his mother is as one that layeth up treasure. It means like you're storing up money. Right? This is some deep stuff, but continue to read.
Whoso honoreth his father shall have joy of his own children. And when he maketh his prayer, he shall be heard.
Whoso honoreth his father, if you respect your father, you will have joy of your own children. Why? Because you're going to teach your children to respect you the way you respect your father. And the Lord is going to bless you and make you enjoy your own children. The reason why a lot of our children are jacked up or we're having problems with our children is because we didn't respect our parents. We don't think of it like that. Why does my son always stay in trouble? Why my daughter don't respect me? Yada, yada, yada. What kind of a child were you? Keep it a buck. Were you the most behaved child in the world? So nobody got perfect kids. I respect my mom when I was growing up. I wasn't a perfect kid. You know, every child gonna have a moment. But for the most part, I respected my mom and still do. And therefore, I got joy in my children. I taught them respect. Just like my mom and my stepfather taught me respect. But continue, Jeff.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 6. He that honoreth his father shall have a long life, and he that is obedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother.
Now look what it says. He that honoreth his father shall have a long life. Didn't we read that in the Ten Commandments?
Yes.
It said, honor your father and mother, and also in Ecclesiastes, not Ecclesiastes, but Ephesians chapter 6, verses 1 through 3, you will live long. See, all of the ancient Israelites knew this. They knew honoring your parents extended your life. That's why a lot of these parents are outliving their children because their children don't respect them. And then it said, he that honoreth his father shall have a long life, and he that is obedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother. This is supposed to be a comfort to your mother. She's supposed to find comfort in you. You're supposed to worry your mama. You're supposed to comfort her. You're supposed to make her life as pleasant as possible. Let's talk to adults, y'all. Do a lot of y'all even check on y'all mama like that and your dad? Do you make sure everything comfortable with them? I'm talking about if your parents are still alive. 'Cause I know some people's parents are not with us. Do you do that? Do you try to make sure your mom and your dad have everything they need as adults? I'm talking about as an adult. Do you do that? Because that's what you're supposed to be doing. Now, of course, I know some people's relationships with their mother and father is not easy for you just to just do that. But I'm talking about if you got a decent relationship with your parents, do you do that? Do you call your mama up and she stays like in another state? Mama, how you doing? You need anything? Dad, you been feeling all right lately? You know, I ain't talked to you in a minute. You supposed to be comforting them. So continue.
Verse 7. He that feareth the Lord will honor his father, and will do service unto his parents.
It says, and he that fears the Lord shall read that again, because hold on. How did you ever read in the Septuagint? Read that again?
You know what? I'm reading off of Acts, but if you want me to go to the...
No, I like the way you was reading, I don't got that little part. Read the part about the fear of the Lord part again. Read that.
Okay. He that feareth the Lord will honor his father,
Mm-hmm.
and will do service unto his parents, as to his master.
It says, and will do service unto his parents as to his master. That means you will serve your parents the way a slave serves his master. If you fear the Lord. And I'm going to show you this means like into their old age too. If you fear the Lord, that's how you're supposed to be honoring your parents. You're supposed to be checking on them, making sure they all right, making sure they got everything they need. A lot of us don't do that, and we know we don't do that. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. I'm not trying to put a guilt trip on you. I'm just reading books. That's what we're supposed to be doing. A lot of us cannot honestly say, I'm serving my parents the way a master serves his slave. I mean, where a slave serves his master. See, honoring them doesn't mean just respecting them. It means taking care of them, making sure they're comfortable, checking on them, making sure they got everything they need. Coming by to see them if you can. Some of our parents stay right around the corner. We never even go see how they doing. That's messed up, y'all. It is. But then we'll come jump on this app every day and argue back and forth and do everything else, thinking we doing the Lord's service. Mama laid up there sick. You don't even know. Well, she didn't tell me. Did you ask? Did you go check? Did you call? That's messed up, y'all. We got to do better. But continue.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, verse 8. Honor thy father and mother, both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them.
It said, honor your father and mother both in word, that means the things you say about them, and deed, which means the things you do for them. You're an adult. Do you do anything for your parents? I mean, keep it above. You go over there, try to, hey, mama, you feel a little tired today? Let me cook for you today. Now, if she be like, baby, I got it. You ain't got to do that. Then you good. We don't do stuff like that. It's a shame, too. See, y'all thought honor your father and mother. Y'all thought this class, oh, we just going to be telling how kids supposed to get their baby parents. I know that's what they were thinking. You think that's what they were thinking, Jeff?
That's what I was thinking.
They thought that's all going to be. Nah, Y'all know how ABP does it. We don't do it like everybody else do it. We go deep. I want to hit you right in your feelings, right in your heart. Because that's what's going to inspire you to change. Some of us ain't even called or talked to our parents in years. Don't have any idea how they doing. At all. I told y'all know I'm an open book. I told y'all about a year ago today, it was on the 7th, my mama had a stroke. And I'll be one of the first ones to admit, I wasn't visiting or checking on my mama nearly as much as I should have been. I'll tell anybody that. Now, my other siblings were, but I wasn't. But after that happened, I made it my business to try to check on her more, visit her more, and talk to her more, and take care of her. And all the families stepped their game up. Even the ones that was already going hard in the paint. They even started going harder. But what I didn't tell y'all is that a few years before that, my auntie had a stroke and died. And she died because she was in her apartment by herself and nobody checked on her for days. And they found her like that. And she has 5 kids. My mom got 7. 5 kids, and I think she was dead for like 2 days when they found her. Because nobody was checking on her. Nobody was honoring her in deed as well as in word. Same exact scenario happened to my mom. Same exact scenario. But my younger brother, Todd, was there. Because he checks on her all the time. And when he first noticed something was wrong, he sounded the alarm to everybody else in the family. And then I kind of just, took over a little bit to make sure that she got everything that she needed to get checked out. And they caught it early, and praise God, my mother is still with us. But some people, parents, are not with us today because the children don't honor them in deed, making sure they're okay, calling them, checking on them. Because we think the honor stopped when we became adults. You ain't got to like your mom or your dad, but you still supposed to respect them, and part of that respect is taking care of them. If you can. But keep reading.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, verse 9. For the blessing of the father establishes the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations.
Look what it says. It says, for the blessing of the father establishes houses of children, because it said, honor your father. Either one of them, for that matter. That's what it means to honor your father and your mother. We're supposed to be respecting them in words, and we're supposed to be taking care of them in their old age. It's going to let you know that. Continue, please, Jeff.
Verse 10. Glory not in the dishonor of thy father.
Don't glory in the dishonor of your father. I mean, don't glory in disrespecting your father. Some people disrespect their father and be glorying about it, bragging about it. Man, I told him I ain't doing none of that junk he's telling me to do. What else to say, Jeff?
For thy father's dishonor is no glory unto thee.
For your father's dishonoring your father is nothing for you to glory about. That's how a lot of these sitcoms be doing. You know, the kids be disrespecting their fathers and laughing and mocking them. That's how this world is setting it up for the father and the mother to be mocked and disrespected. That's evil. That's wicked. You got some of these women curse out their mom and get on the phone and brag their friends about it. Yeah, I told them be out today. That's your mama. But continue.
Verse 11. For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father, and a mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children.
He said, for the glory of a man is from the honor. That's what you get your glory from respecting your father. That's supposed to glorify you. You're a man who respects his father. But then it says, and a mother in dishonor, in disrespect is a reproach to her children. When you disrespect your mom, she's a reproach to you. That means something you don't respect, something you look down upon. Continue, Jeff.
Verse 12. My son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth.
He said, my son, help your father in his age. That means when he gets older, take care of him. And then it said, and grieve him not as long as he lives. You don't give your father any grief as long as he lives. That's what this is saying. You're supposed to give comfort to him. You know this is talking to adults, don't you, Jeff? You know this is talking to adults. This ain't talking to no babies.
For sure.
Honor your father and mother is talking to adults first. I didn't put this lesson together just for y'all to tell y'all kids to respect you. I'm telling grown men and women that they need to still be honoring their fathers and mothers and father-in-laws and mother-in-laws. A lot of y'all know y'all ain't been doing that. And y'all think y'all just going to walk into the kingdom. This is the type of stuff that gets you cut off. This type of stuff that make Jesus turn you around at the gate. Nah, you ain't coming up in here. You don't respect your father, so I know you don't respect my father. Continue.
Verse 13. And if his understanding fail, have patience with him.
And if his understanding fails, have patience with him. I mean, you know, as people get older, they become senile and stuff. A lot of us, oh man, I don't go and deal with dad today. He don't even hardly remember nothing. Mama getting on my nerves. It says if his understanding fails,